F125 is out now, and hundreds of thousands of Formula One fans are flocking to play Codemasters' latest iteration of the official game of the pinnacle of world motorsport. And of course, this game is very popular for players with a controller, but also if you want a fully immersive, realistic experience, you're probably going to be wanting to play this game with a steering wheel. My name is John and I'm from Traction GG, and if you have a Moza wheelbase, I'm actually using the R12 V2 at the moment with the FSR2 steering wheel and M-Booster active pedal, you're probably going to be wanting to find ideal force feedback settings and controller settings for your game, so I'm going to share those with you today. Now we're going to start off by taking a look at the Moza Pit House software settings. Of course, it's crucial to get these settings right for your particular wheelbase, and that will have a big influence on the settings within the game as well. So you need to make sure that both of these are somewhat in sync. Now, if you want to replicate exactly the settings that I'm going to be going through in this video, you can actually download the preset. There will be a link in the description below, and then you can load in exactly the same settings as I'm using today, but we're going to go through them all anyway. So first up, the wheelbase itself, basic settings. Now, presets are actually there that Moza have created, and they're great for many different things, but I would always recommend starting with a preset, like Formula One for instance in this example, but then actually changing things yourself and getting a little bit of a feel for what they do, because personal preference is always massively influential when it comes to force feedback settings, and you're going to want to tweak things a little bit and find your sweet spot essentially. Next up here we have maximum steering angle, very, very important. The default setting on F125 is 400 degrees, so if you want to run with that, change this setting in the profiler to match by setting it to 400. You can also make sure that it synchronizes with the game itself if you want to be extra safe. What I would recommend trying though would be changing this down to 360 degrees and also doing the same in F125. We will come on to those settings in a little bit. But basically it's going to give you a slightly sharper steering rack, slightly more realistic to what you would actually expect in a Formula One car. On the right hand side, game force feedback intensity and maximum output torque are actually set to 100%. Now of course this depends on what wheelbase you're using. With the R12 V2, we have it set on 100%, but that doesn't mean we're actually going to use 100% of the available torque. We're actually going to turn down the output via the game itself. So we've set this to 100 right now. It doesn't mean we're going to use all of that available torque. Also make sure that force feedback reversal is turned off and hands-on protection is turned on. Moving on to advanced settings, and just a reminder, if you want to see what each of the individual settings actually does, what it changes and how that influences the feel, you can actually hover over the little information tab here and it will give you a full description in your chosen language. I'm not going to spend too much time going over every single detail here, but what I would say is there are some important things to think about. For me, damping is always crucial when it comes to the feeling of force feedback. If you have that number too high, the force feedback is going to feel a little bit vague, it's going to feel a bit numb, a little bit heavy, and I like to get as basically a raw signal as I can possibly get away with. However, if you run it at 0%, it can sometimes be that tiny bit too raw and a little bit too intense. So generally what I do is set the damping setting somewhere quite low. So here, natural damping is set at 20%. I've got game damping set at 10%. It's down to personal preference, but I would recommend starting with it low and having a little bit of a play around. There is also a damping setting in F125, which we'll come on to later on. Inertia settings are also quite important when you're talking about Formula One cars. If you have natural inertia or game inertia turned up too high, generally speaking, you'll find that the car can be a little trickier to control in changes of direction. It becomes a little bit heavy and a little bit sloppy. So I would tend to run inertia at a natural point around about 100% just to make sure that you can deal with those quick direction changes. You can see the rest of the settings here, but you can also see speed dependent damping as well at the bottom is all turned off because I don't want any sort of false additional effects that are going to muddy the water a little bit when it comes to force feedback. That's just my personal preference. I like to know exactly what's happening underneath me with no sort of amplified additional effects that aren't actually adding to my knowledge of what the car is doing underneath me. Some people love those kind of immersive extra effects though, so give it a go and see what you think. In terms of FFB effect equalizer and the base FFB curve, as you can see, I'm very basic. Keeping it at 100% just keeps it all consistent. Same thing with the curve, very much linear. It just gives me more of a consistent feeling and I know what to expect, but again, everyone's different. And that's pretty much going to be it for the wheelbase settings. We'll take a quick look just so you can see as well what I'm running for the M-Booster. The settings are on screen now if you want to have a look. It's not quite linear as you can see, but just have a play around and see what works for you. And with this FSR2 steering wheel that I'm using, you do of course have a dashboard display. Now this won't work properly unless you configure it. So go to the home page of Pit House software, go to the right hand side and just make sure the F125, which should be on this list of games here in alphabetical order, is configured. You'll also potentially have to enable it in the game as well via telemetry settings when you're out on track. But when you enable all of that, you should be able to see the dashboard coming up on your screen whilst playing F125. And you can of course customize the dashboard look by heading over to dashboard settings here. Now thankfully Moza have added a number of presets that are suitable for Formula racing. So you've got V1, V2, V3 and V4 all here. So pick the one that you like the look of, click use dashboard, and now you should have a working dash in the game. So back in the game, and it's time to look at our wheel and controller settings. So we're going to head down and we're going to start off by looking at the controller assignments. So you will need to make sure that you head into controller settings and edit the control scheme to make sure that your buttons are optimized. Now obviously this FSR2 steering wheel has plenty of buttons and encoders, so I can set lots of different things up here. And so we'll have a quick look through the important ones. Obviously accelerate, brake, steer left and right. Good to have a button so that you can pause as well. Formula 1 cars actually use a hand clutch, so if you've got clutch paddles like I do here, it's worth assigning them as well. One of the most important buttons is look back. It's always good to be able to quickly glance behind you, and if you're racing particularly offline and you want to use a rewind or watch a replay quickly, it's good to have a button ready to go for that too. Obviously activating and deactivating DRS is important, as is your pit lane speed limiter, and also an overtake button for when you're using manual ERS mode. It's great to be able to have that in a handy position so you can quickly get that extra boost of power. Make sure you have clear buttons for your MFD functions as well, so you can change settings within the car and have a look at the different menus. It's really helpful to use these little rocker switches to be able to quickly navigate through specific menus. And then if you come all the way down to MFD shortcuts, this is also a helpful page, especially if you're looking at competitive driving and trying to get the most out of every single corner and every 10th of lap time. Things like brake bias, being able to increase and decrease this heading into specific corners or just quickly, depending on the balance of your car, can be very useful. And thankfully with this wheel, for example, we've got a brake bias dial here. You've also got fuel mix, you can increase and decrease differential settings, ERS mode, all of these things. If you have enough rockers and enough encoders to be able to set things up for each of these individual settings, it does save a lot of time and brain power in the heat of a battle if you want to be able to make those little adjustments. It could make all the difference at the end of the day. Now the final sections we're going to look at are the calibration screen and the vibration and force feedback screen. So we'll start with calibration. As you can see, I have the steering rate at 100% just to keep everything consistent across the board. I don't have any dead zones, but basically if you go into your profiler and test your steering, your accelerator and brake pedal, just make sure that you've not got any stickiness there that you need to solve and create some dead zones. But all of this stuff works perfectly. I don't need any dead zones. And as you can see, most of the settings are 0, but again, feel free to play around with stuff like the brake linearity, just depending on how sensitive you want the pedal to be and what sort of curve you want out of that. But you can also do a lot of things, of course, via the Moza Pit House software. Vibration and force feedback is probably what you're also wanting to find out about, but the reality is with F125, these settings, they're fairly simple and straightforward. We're going to start at the bottom first, because the maximum wheel rotation we talked about earlier while we were looking at Moza. We've got it set to 360 here, and in the Moza Pit House software, of course the default, as I said earlier, was 400, so you could match them up however you want. If you're driving around somewhere like Monaco, for instance, and you want an even shorter steering rack, you could actually lower that even further. Just have a play around, but I'm honestly comfortable with 360 on every single circuit on the calendar. Going back up to the top, the first setting, vibration and force feedback strength. As usual, it comes down to personal preference. As you can see, we've got it set to 40, which you might think is a bit low, but remember, we have 12 Newton meters of torque in this R12 wheelbase, and it's all set to 100% in the Moza software. So by doing that, we can really play around with this number, and we're going to have lots of headroom to feel all of the detailed force feedback without any clipping. So I would be comfortable running even higher, 50 or 60. 40 still feels good to me as well. Just have a play around and see what you think. The next settings, on-track effects, rumble strip effects, off-track effects, and pit stop effects. I don't like having these too high, to be honest. So basically, on-track effects will basically enhance the feeling that you get over certain road textures and surface changes and stuff like that. Rumble strip effects does what it says in the tin. It changes how the feeling is over curbs. Off-track effects are when you go into the gravel, on the grass, things like that, and pit stop effects only take place when you're in the pit lane. Now, also, as you can see on the right, pit stop effects are only relevant with controllers and true force wheels anyway. But basically, these effects are kind of not that important. I tend to have them low because, as I said earlier, I don't like muddying the water too much with my force feedback. I like to feel exactly what I need to feel, and I like that information to be as clean as possible. So having these effects too high, yes, you might get more immersion when you run onto the grass or the gravel or run over a curb, but actually all it's going to do is make it harder to control when I'm coming back on because everything's just blown up and enhanced. It totally comes down to what you want. I know I've said that so many times in this video, but I personally like having these settings quite low and focusing more on the important detail that I need to get the car around the track quickly and save slides, stop crashes, things like that. Finally then, wheel damper, and as you can see, I have it set to 0. Now we talked about that setting a little bit earlier on. I've got it low within the Moza Pit House software. I just don't like having too high a damper setting. I think it's the one that makes the biggest difference to the overall feel when playing something like F125, and it's probably the setting that's going to be the most wrong if you're struggling with the feelings yourself. This one will make a big difference. I like having, as I've said many times, that raw feedback signal where everything's coming through as precisely as possible and less muddy. Now, having a high wheel damper will give you more weight in the steering, it'll give you a little bit more friction, but I personally feel like it's a little bit false and I like the information to be direct. So for me, I run it at 0. You could also run it at 5 and 10 and that would feel okay as well, but we've obviously got a little bit of that turned on in Pit House software anyway. So for me, these are the settings that I will run. And that's going to be it. Hopefully these settings help you out a little bit on F125, get that feeling that you're looking for from your Moza equipment. But of course, as I've said many times, it comes down to personal preference, and maybe for you, some of these settings aren't quite what you need, maybe you need something else specifically. And if that's the case, let us know down in the comments below what those settings are, because maybe someone else is in the same situation as you. But either way, hopefully this helps improve your F125 experience. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.